what a week for Twitter and Elon Musk. We see the stock there at 49. Listen, a week ago, of course, we looked like we were going to trial on October 17th in Delaware. There'd been no real movement in terms of anything real on settlement talks, at least that we were aware of. And, of course, there was, therefore, the uncertainty that would come along with potential litigation. A week later, well, he's committed to buying the company for $54.20. But yesterday, Mr. Musk and his legal team certainly got a very positive ruling from Chancellor McCormick when they filed a motion to essentially delay the trial and let us close and get all our ducks in a row when it comes to our financing and our equity financing as well, although they don't say that as much. And we'll close by the 28th. And Chancellor McCormick said, done. I will let you do that. That date was probably at the very end of sort of the reasonability scale in terms of how far you could push things. They didn't need to go that far, it wouldn't seem. They hadn't actually even contacted the banks as yet, as far as I was able to determine based on a number of different calls in terms of saying get ready to fund and or their equity partners. Remember the $7 billion he raised from the likes of Larry Ellison? None of them had been contacted either. It does appear when Mr. Musk sent in that letter, it really was him and maybe Alex Spiro, his lawyer, Quinn Emanuel. Nobody else seemed to even know on Monday night when he authored that letter, as, of course, at the same time he was tweeting about Ukraine and Russia. But here we are, and where we are is that, well, there's a lot of people who believe in the 22 days between now and when he has to close, who knows what Elon Musk and his legal team will come up with. That's the fear. The other side would say there's nothing they can do. They are going to close, and if they don't, Chancellor McCormick is going to say, fine, we're having a trial, we're putting it on in November, it's going to be fast, and then I'm going to force you to close. That said, you got to get, the latest financial statements, or at least ask for them from Twitter, and then he's got to sign this solvency opinion or certificate. It's got to sort of be given to the banks as well. And there's some questions or concerns about whether Musk will try and screw around with that. He's got 22 days. He's Elon Musk.
Well,
who knows?
I've been involved with some complicated litigation, including a 6-year case in New Jersey, the longest running case at one point in the state. And I wanted to get memos. Now, I'm not going to talk about, I'm banned from telling you about how things came out, but I'm just saying that one thing is for certain. There is always something incriminating that could wreck your business going forward. Now, don't you think in a trial some things would come out from this man that would make it so that they would have trouble doing business?
That's a question. We all have wondered, is it really the fear of not even the trial, but the deposition?
The deposition.
Which was scheduled for this week, was scheduled for last week, then this week, then Monday, now put off. Of course, given the trial has been put off as well, potential trial, if they don't close. We don't know. We don't know what it was he potentially feared from a deposition. It's not like he hasn't given plenty of them in the past. He has, but in this case, certainly it does appear that he wanted to avoid that, Jim.
So something happened.
There's any number of hedge fund managers who obviously focus on event-driven deals, who are trying to figure out all the different ways that he could potentially try and screw with this at this point, from not signing an opinion and therefore putting the financing in some sort of risk. By the way, again, and I shared this a great deal, number of times yesterday, the financing banks are there and ready to stand up to their commitment. That is not in doubt. Based on a number of different conversations that I certainly had. But, if you don't sign a solvency opinion, then they won't fund. But then the judge could still order him to buy the company anyway. It's up to him, the capital structure. So the 28th
is... they make a deal, then the judge...
We'll know. 3 months from now. 3 months. 3 weeks from now.
Are you going to go?
We'll know. No, I'm not going to go down there. He's going to close on the 28th.
I agree that
they've withdrawn their termination letter.
I've been saying that since day one.
They've testified in the court. They've told Chancellor McCormick, we're closing on the 28th. We'll see what she does if they don't.
It's ironclad. It's like the worst deal ever if you're Musk. It basically says, I'm buying it no matter what. You can't stop me.
Right. Meantime, this interview in the FT is pretty remarkable, where he talks about, he says, Twitter is certainly an invitation to increase your pain level, but I'm not doing it for the money. It's not like I'm trying to buy some yacht and I can't afford it. I think it's important people have a maximally trusted and inclusive means of exchanging ideas. As for others, like Truth Social, it's essentially a right-wing echo chamber. It might as well be called Trumpet.
There's the quote in question, Carl, that you chose, because we also were focused on that. He also said it should be as trusted and transparent as possible. that is the new Twitter, which, again, at this point now, by the way, they could have closed next week. In the way things typically work, they could have closed as soon as next week. But in 3 weeks, it's going to be his, or it won't be. And this thing will go on, and we'll end up at trial in November. And then we'll probably end up, maybe we end up in New York in December if the banks, you can go down a lot of roads here.
There were people who bought.
I'm going to try not to talk about it for the next 3 weeks. We'll see what happens.
You did a great job yesterday in report.
Thank you.
There were some other people who bought the stock before, betting that it actually was undervalued. That it was undervalued.